The last time we did this, my kids and my wife just would not leave me alone. It was awful. So
All right, we're live.
I've been relegated to the garage.
Yeah,
Sweet,
I'm joining you
sweet.
from the kitchen, and I've just managed to get the kids down upstairs. So yeah, fingers crossed we got the duration of the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice to
Yep.
be here, guys. Thanks for hosting.
Yeah, thanks for coming out, man.
Yeah. And this is like the first time anybody has really seen you.
Yeah, man.
Is that,
One off.
is that
Yeah, the
yeah.
unmasking. Is it
Yeah,
disappointed?
no. You're a majestic man.
Are you nervous
thank you very
being
much.
being doxxed for the first time, or have you always been doxxed in some way?
It was an interesting one. I mean, I wasn't planning on being revealed on face, but I mean, I interact with my face every day in the other world, so why not, isn't it? I can't hide it there. I don't run around with a mask on. So all my content's authentic. It is me. There's no big bridge to cross there, really. So yeah,
Right.
it's a natural progression. It happened sooner than I thought, but good to have the opportunity to do it, really.
Yeah, appreciate you coming out.
So yeah.
All right,
So
I'm
you're
gonna.
talking to the avatar all evening, eh? Not that I'm much more animated, to be honest. It's getting on pretty late
Yeah.
here, but yeah, it's been
Yeah.
a tough couple of weeks.
Just gonna shout out the stream in the Discord. All right. Wait for some people to get in.
Then can you share that link with me?
Yeah,
On
got you.
Is there like an external YouTube link, or
Yeah, here you can send
just
it
bring that back
to.
to me?
Yeah,
I'll get it off clean. You just stick it in that Twitter DM, please.
Oh God. Okay, so let me do this then. Link. I'll post it with you first. Okay.
I just tweeted it out as well. I added you on Twitter, Taste.
Oh, appreciate that. Nice one.
Yeah, no problem.
Get you all linked up. Yes, looking good.
What's up, Renum? What's up, homie? What's up, Harvey? People slowly starting to come in. It's nice to have one a little bit early too, because we normally have these at
Isn't it?
9 p.m. Yeah, and for
Okay.
me,
Yeah.
So we jumped you by 2 hours, have we?
yeah,
It's getting up to like probably the end of the window where I'd want to be talking coherently to anyone, particularly live on the internet. So I was trying to marry that little space. So you guys both on the eastern side, or are you like
Yes,
local
sir.
to each other? What's the
Yeah,
what's the
I'm-
what's the link between you?
I'm Eastern, and there's like what, 600 miles, 700 miles between where we live.
yeah, something like
Well,
that.
that's
That's
like
wild, and that's considered local.
Not
fo-
really, is
400
it?
kilometers.
No, okay.
I don't know. Is that considered local? I don't think so.
It's 400
Closer to me.
kilometers. It's or something close, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm on.
Yeah.
I'm in Georgia, East Coast. So,
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
yeah.
Fair enough.
And I'm in a little
Yeah,
state called
600
Indiana
miles.
with
Pretty flat.
corn. Yeah.
Nice.
So, where are you from, man?
I'm from Wales. So,
Oh, okay.
In the UK, in Europe, yeah. Little country there
Mhm.
full of druids and dragons. That's where we get born. Perpetual
I could tell you
rain
where he's from.
and- yeah, I was gonna say. I'm just here to go. Yes. no.
Yes,
Who knows?
clean.
How do you know?
Yeah.
Have you got a big book? Yeah, like in a big file of facts thing.
Yeah. You're like, technically speaking, back then you were.
That's
yeah.
not true. Stop saying lies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I can no longer be cool on the internet without scrutiny. That's a shame. But
Yeah.
It was good while it lasted.
So I guess we'll have some like softball questions while we wait for some people to get in, just kind of ease into everything.
Yeah, sure thing.
Do you want to release your name, or is that still going to be hidden for now?
Names could be up for grabs. If you, yeah, you can
I'm not trying to
throw a
pressure you,
name.
just curious.
No, don't pressure him. Don't pressure him. He's revealed his
If you,
face.
if,
Let's
if,
like just.
if you emailed me, I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
you'd get my name in reply. So
Fair.
Yeah.
it's not that hidden. So yeah, hi, my name's Reese. It's nice to meet you.
Awesome. Nice to meet you, man. Glad to have you on the show. So are you
Yeah.
into NFTs as well? Like, do you acquire, do you buy, do you have a favorite project, anything like that?
Yeah, I do. It's weird. Since entering the space as an artist, it's allowed me to actually like collect art. Whereas in the real world, with physical pieces and art pieces, the prices now with fiat money, you just couldn't get in. So for me, it's an opportunity to make money in the space and use that space then to like get involved with other projects, support other artists, and like yeah, it's a good choice out there. Some really good talent, like even within the Cardano chain and the Cardano space. So like yeah, it's been good. It's been hard not to spend the money and keep remembering that I was accumulating ADA to be like for the long term plan. But
Right.
hey, it's all part of the
Yeah.
game, isn't it? Diversifying the portfolio, should we say?
Are you only on Cardano, or do you also buy Ethereum, NFTs, and Solana and stuff like that?
No, I started back in 2017, and then I bought like a array of shit coins, thinking that one of them was going to land,
Yeah.
and probably none of
But
them
name-
did.
Name some names. Name some names of shitcoins, okay?
Of shit coins, the worst one I had the biggest bag of was XVG. That saw its heyday, and
Okay.
I was like, yes, I made it. And then it was like,
Woo!
Aw.
gone. But like, never over invested more than I like. Do you know what I mean? It was only a couple of hundred, so it was all right.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And then yeah, came back about last year. One of the other guys in Threefoldbold is three of us as artists. So he was deep in the crypto space, trading a bit more, like you said yourself. And then he put us on to Cardano. Seemed like a good idea. Put a couple of bits into that, and then at the same time flurried a little bit more on like AGIX, and that kind of ecosystem, and got a bit of, like Polygon, I think. But apart from that, yeah, it's very much Cardano centric, and I just build solely on Cardano, so it's easier. There's just a whole world of like noise once you get into the crypto space. So for me to like fully get to grips with the ins and outs of one system, it just made sense to pick that, box it all down. So that way, yeah, I get to grips with it a bit better rather than spreading thin.
Gotcha. Did you hear the news about AGIX or anything like that recently with
I
Ben
haven't been following it. if I'm
Gorsel or
honest.
whatever?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, I guess the bridge from Ethereum to Cardano is going to happen on mainnet within the next couple weeks.
Yeah, I heard a date get thrown out in around April time, is it? Early April?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that could be good because I've got like that held up in the exchange because
Yeah.
I just won't
Yeah.
take it off. Like, it's
No.
just like, I'm not going to give you like 200 of my bits, no. So I've been waiting for that,
Yeah.
that'd be good.
Yeah,
And yeah, I think with that, you're going to see another influx of like funds and people and money and artists, and it should be an interesting time for the space, really. Are you guys prepared
Yeah.
for that? Have you got anything lined up for that kind of influx of people coming through, or
I mean,
got any moves?
I own a lot of NFTs, so I'm hoping that's preparing me for an influx of people buying NFTs. So hopefully I can
Yeah,
start
it's about time
selling
I've seen
some
that
of them.
game, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
But-
so I
Paid
went
it
in.
back to
I went on
$2
Space
and-
Buds. Sorry.
Yeah, no carry on.
Yeah. So that's about it. Like I've just went into
So
Space
did you get
Buds,
in on
kind of
Mint
getting
for that, or did you get in on
Mint?
secondary?
no
Yeah,
secondary.
for Space Buds. Okay.
You know,
So how long have you
I
been
was
in the
not
space?
there. I didn't. I
If you don't
was.
mind me asking.
Yeah, still watching the charts. I was still watching the charts.
Uh-huh.
So it was like NFTs were kind of like a unknown thing to me at the time.
I
And
didn't get it then.
yeah,
I
Yeah.
still don't really get it
Yeah.
now.
That was
Yeah.
where I was kind of at
It's a
too.
learning curve, isn't it? Or a learning wall.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you just got to break through that wall. You just got to keep punching. But
Yeah, man.
yeah, I didn't even know about space buds until I got into the space, and I think when I got into the space, Claymates or Clay Nation was minting, and it was like, you know, one of the first projects I'd really seen, and I was just like, oh, you know, this probably isn't going to do well because they look kind of scary, you know, like I'm not going to buy these, and I don't know, I just did not understand the space at all. I really missed out on space buds and Claymates.
Yeah, man, I'm quite aesthetically driven, so it's hard for me like to look at NFTs as an investment like coldly. It has to still look good. It has to still like tick a few boxes for me, rather than being like putting the cold hard cash down, flip, 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 make your money back, and yeah, I don't know, just come at it different.
So do you
Well, so
like Clay Nation?
I'm agnostic to it. I mean, it's cool. It seems to have a good following. It's not really my bag. I like what they're doing next. I like what they've done in being like fully community driven. It seems like they've kind of carved out their own little bit for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I haven't really checked out more of the project on a deeper level. I haven't
Gotcha.
been in their Discord or anything like that, so I can't really attest to it. But yeah, they seem to have a good following in and around the space, I suppose. Seem to be holding value, but they don't seem to be on that like upward. I don't know. Maybe that's next phase for them.
They're doing pretty well. They have like a bunch of DAOs that have come out. I don't know if you've been following the space too much, but we've had. They're not even fully DAOs really yet, but they're like claiming to be DAOs, and they have like DAO-like features, but nothing is like fully decentralized. But you know, they're taking money such as like Rats DAO, and they're buying blue chips and dispersing that through like tokens and stuff like that to holders. So I think the more DAOs that we get in the space, the more they're gonna accumulate blue chips, like, you know, Pavia.
Yeah, that's only going to be good
all that.
yeah, that's it, for the value going up. And I'm in a similar thing with SGS. That's the GOAT derivative one, isn't it? And then there's like, yeah, everyone likes a little DAO these days. It's like, if you're not in a metaverse and you've not got a DAO, like, oh, when's your game coming out? And it's like,
Yeah.
oh, I don't do that either. It's just pictures and music and some fun. Lots of fun.
You're talking about your project as far as like music and art?
Yeah, it's just, you know, like, we try and avoid following the buzz and like trying to fit a mold. It's like, this is what we've come here to create. Come and have a look.
Yeah, I think people have a lot of
interested to see how that's been received. I think.
Yeah,
it's been a surprise. It's been pretty humbling.
I was just gonna say, because you're kind of doing your own thing, you know, I feel like a lot of, I don't know, I'm gonna call you a maverick. You know, like mavericks kind of get that, you know, that recognition. And I was looking at a few of your projects. It looks like the floor is doing very well on pretty much all of them.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah, that's the thing. That's like totally neglect as well. We often do like a series, and it's exciting for us as producers, and then like we keep going, and then people come in later than directly doing that. So we always have to remember that they need the overview of where we've been before we then pull them through to the next chapter. So yeah, it's interesting, but it's nice that it's been well supported, and every time it kind of gets picked up through the channels, it seems to have a little flutter on the secondary, which is really interesting to see. And yeah, we appreciate it. It's people trying to get in on the earlier projects from seeing later things and trying to collect it. We've had loads of incoming on the DMs, trying to verify policies and stuff. So, I mean, from a project perspective, those are definite things you want to start providing people a bit easier. Maybe you might be looking at the project and it's a bit convoluted in certain areas. That's not by design. But yeah, we just come at it a bit different. So we want to make sure we're servicing people that will be coming in our own special threefoldbold way.
Nice.
Yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be good.
And I get it. I feel like when people talk about discords and other things like that, I feel like for what you're doing, it's almost it's too much interaction, right? You would be responsible for too much, essentially, because people would
there'd be a lot of hand holding, maybe.
Yeah.
So no plans for a Discord, you're saying?
There's certain movements towards a Discord.
Okay.
Let's put it that way.
Okay.
there's been lots of call for it, lots of demand, and our recent collab with Atreyu meant that we could kind of pitch up in his, so we kind of used that for a little while, and it's been nice. It's been a good little buzz, and people can kind of hop in, ask the other nomads what's going on, kind of hop out, and it's been like a little outpost, which is nice. But then, if we were to make something that was inherently ours as a hub, it would need to be very much a threefold-bold kind of iteration of that. So until that's ready, hold tight.
Gotcha.
I mean, I get it. Like, so with the working with Atreyu, what was that like? So you guys are both what I would consider like finer art, I guess you would say, inside the space. Like it's something to kind of appreciate if you appreciate the art side of NFTs and not necessarily the flipping. But what was that like? How did you guys meet up?
Yeah, I appreciate
you just
that.
look at his collection and say,
yeah, I don't know. Like, I remember seeing him in the space, him and Steve 3PO, and they were carving out their own little following, and it seemed to be taking off. And I remember getting into one or two of their spaces, and like it was late here, and I had the baby. It's like, I can't actually talk to these guys. We're just sitting listening. So it's like just on the outside of what they were doing, and then all of a sudden he started following the threefold stuff and getting in on some of the drops. And I think off the back of that, then there came a message through, and it was like, "Hey guys, so should we have a little chat and then sit down?" So we did that, jumped in on Discord. And it just snowballed from there. And about 4 months of work left. We've just finished. It was a big commitment in the end, but it all happened organically. So it didn't feel like it at all, and it was difficult to go over to very established styles. So all of the pieces in the main collection are collaborations. So there's myself, Fulter, and Atreyu, both of which are very heavily unique in their style. So Fulter's very illustration, fine art based painting. Atreyu's photo manipulation and that kind of side. And then I kind of have my own kind of street art illustration-y thing. So putting all three of those in on top, it was interesting. We just had to go in with sledgehammers. We couldn't go in tiptoeing around on each other's pieces. It was like, okay, I'm coming in, you're coming in. All right, oof. Where's that going? And then we managed to make this collection. And then the best thing about it, we put the music first, whereas usually we make the images and send them over to Rogue Tactics and like soundtrack this. It was like, okay, give us 3 tracks and then we'll split them up and then we'll go off the music this time. So that was the starting point. And then we had the character, we had Cypher, and it just span out from there.
Rogue has his own style of music, I would say. You know what I mean? It's just
like unbelievable. Yeah. You can turn his hand to anything though. That's I take it for granted, but it's often like, oh, can you do this? And throw him some bits, and then he gets to it back, and it's like completely, mind blowing. Guy's a talent in himself.
Yeah, and so I bought his albums. His albums are on iTunes right now. If you guys feel free to just look up Rogue Tactics. It's definitely pretty cool. But I listened to it.
It's a mix of it's like jazzy and then the Gundam. Yeah, it's just it's like it's good. It'll take you on a journey.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So I'm being told right now that you have a really bad echo cleanup. Sorry about that. I don't know how to fix it. So
I have a really bad echo now.
Yeah, they say it's only coming out of you.
By 3 of those on top. God. Yeah, it was interesting. We just had to go in.
Hold on, I'll mute my mic.
Maybe I'll mute my mic. I
just got scared and didn't say anything.
It's my fault. It's clean up. Blame clean up. Whenever in doubt. Is it good?
It's weird. When I listen to it, it sounds okay, but people are telling me that it got worse. Can you guys wait? It's better? Okay. All right. I think it's okay now. All right, cool. We'll carry on. Sorry about that. I just wanted to make sure that everything was fine, so nobody was listening to crazy, horrible audio.
Right.
Sorry to interrupt you guys.
Nah, it's cool. It's all
Yeah,
good.
that's cool. So what was the last project that you minted?
What did I buy last? It was either a Jason Matthias piece. I've minted something since then, though. Was it Teddy Troops? I'm trying to think.
Yeah, I
Oh,
want to say
yeah.
Teddy Troops, right?
Yeah, it probably was Teddy Troops, I think. Minted
Which they
4
kind of
those.
match your style. I would say like street art sort of
Oh, huge
style,
influence.
graffiti
Massive influence,
or
yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, like when I saw that come to Cardano, I was like, little fangirl. Yeah, it was amazing. I
Yeah,
was looking through some
which
of
it
the
looks
pieces
cool.
again earlier.
Like,
I
they
was
do
like,
look cool.
I might pick some more up, but it's just iconic for me, that kind of Teddy and the helmet thing. We've been seeing it for years since I like first started getting into street art graffiti, and yeah,
Right.
it's good. It sits in a special place, and now I've got some in my wallet, which is nice.
Yeah,
And again, it comes back to that. I wouldn't never have managed to get a Fortress piece in real life, but yeah, it's good.
right. And then
What about yourself?
what is the rarest thing in your wallet?
Ooh, good question. I've got a couple of one-of-ones that I treasure. They're by Trong Legacy or Tad Madness. They're pretty special. You probably would say maybe the Unsigs. They're
Okay.
probably the rarest thing, or the thing likely to continue to hold value, maybe.
Okay.
Or maybe the first thing that I minted, because there's definitely like no one else has got that when it comes with a physical.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
maybe some of the errors.
Yeah.
Those are priceless.
Okay, I gotcha. Yeah.
Bloody minting errors.
Um, what I would say, what is your biggest project that you ever minted before? Like, did you ever get into like the buds, or like I know unsigs, there were like
No,
31,000
no.
of them. And I personally own
Yeah, that's a
9,
pretty big collection. Yeah,
you
I've
know.
I've only recently got them myself, but I was very fortunate to have one given to me.
Okay.
So they were from Mint. I got one of those. Big ups Filter, thanks for that. And then after that, coming into when V2 was coming out, I was like, oh, I'll get one or two more. I got lucky
Yeah.
on one of our trades, and I was like, oh, I'll just cash in, and got 2 more. So I've got 3 and a couple
Okay.
of V2 tokens. So I feel rich in that respect, but like
Yeah.
such a tiny speck on the big scale of who else has
On
got.
the
Well, you've got
unsig.
9. And then
Yeah.
it's like that's still small fry, but it's cool.
Now, have you
I
have
didn't
you
think I'd ever
factored
be
that?
into that art, if I'm honest.
Really?
But yeah, it's caught me out. It's good.
What do you
Yeah, I
think of
remember it
like
first coming around.
what do you think of like AI art? I don't know if you've seen any of that, but the art that's like computer generated and kind of like distorted and crazy looking.
It's the first thing I ever minted on Cardano, actually. Was a piece or 3 pieces of AI art. I like those because they're part of my story and they're very good. I think the space suffers from a lot of low quality AI art, and that might be due to barriers to entry, or just everyone may have access to the skill, but like unless you're bringing your own vision to the thing, it comes out very, very bland, which is a shame. So it's an incredible tool, and I've seen some people do some amazing things with it, but again, you can't just put nothing in and expect magic to come out. But
Yeah,
people like pretty things that swirl around, so
that's true.
maybe that's where the magic lies.
Fair enough.
But yeah, again, it's outside my skill set as well. So as most of my stuff is hand drawn and illustrated, and then I remember someone making a request and it's like, "Oh, can you do like 1,000 just slightly different variations on that?" I was like, "No, because that'll take me about a year."
Yeah.
But it's just I wouldn't know how. I wouldn't know how, but maybe like that's a road to cross in it later, in as we get into the coding world and start looking under the bonnet of things.
Gotcha. So I was actually curious about if somebody wanted to get into your project and they didn't know who you guys were, but they were just like, oh, I heard this name, my friend told me about it. What's the best way for them to learn about your project and get into it?
I'd send you personally to the White Room. That gives you an introduction of what you can expect. There's a little audio clip there that we spent a little while orchestrating. And then from there, it's up to you to kind of find your own way around. There's a couple of click-throughs. It'll take you this way or that way. You might find your way through the bodega or into the vending machine. You can have a little click around. But then after that, I guess the crux for us, the one that's making the most noise, and it seems to have picked up another wave again, is the Lost Ladies. So if you type in the policy ID on the secondary marker, you can see the first and second series there. You might want to pick up a couple of those, but we've got a new edition coming up next, so that's the third series of Lost Ladies. So that will be on the same kind of format, similar kind of style art, and an intriguing drop, hopefully, which I'm still in the process of building. But otherwise, yeah, it's hard to keep track at the moment, because obviously our mechanism is that you come with us on this journey, and the journey brings out spoils of NFTs. Rather than buying an NFT that then gives you access to the world, come with us through the world and you might get some NFTs out of it after. Like, we'll see.
Gotcha. So what is the White Room?
So the White Room was the concept initially when we started. It was like, what would be the most boring example of your current existence? So it's like just a white pallid. Yeah, white pallid enclave is what you get, isn't it? But it's just completely vapid. You get there and then there's nothing but self-contemplation from there on. You're then met by a character and then offered an opportunity, should we say. And then the rest is up to you. There's an invitation and an open door. And I think from there onwards, then you get pulled into the fold, which is this vast existence of where we operate, really. So if you catch us on Twitter, you might be a bit confused. There's often maybe some signals bouncing back and forth, or a mission underway, or a little airdrop thing, or we try and keep it fun. But all that exists in the fold, which is accessible through the website, through the White Room, or through a series of gates. And the gate to the Earth, which we operate currently out of, is 090. So you see a lot of buzz about that. Until you guys unfortunately evolve beyond the current level, we'll be here for a little while. But yeah, the stats are looking good.
So is that a website, the White Room, or is that a link?
Yeah, that's our main website. So if you go to threefoldbold.io,
oh, that is
straight there.
Okay. So I was there.
And,
cool.
Yeah, that's the White Room. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's just your actual front, the front of the website. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, my first look at it, I was like, is this it? And then I kept like looking around and I was like clicking on stuff and I like finally found like a link that I could accidentally click on and I was like, wait. And it was like a bunch of other stuff and I don't want to like ruin anybody's experience, so I'm just going to leave it at that. I'll let you guys figure it out. But their website is like way more than it actually appears.
No, I appreciate that. It's been a lot of fun. And it's been a passion project, really, in terms of just making it really fun, interactive, and nostalgic as possible. And I think we've got some interesting plans to continue that. So yeah, it should be fun.
Awesome.
So Lost Ladies season 3.
Probably
I'm not going to ask when we should expect it, but hopefully soon. And so I noticed.
Sooner rather than later.
Yeah. You were on Atreyu's Discord, doing a sale on there, which was good. I participated in that as well, and they had auctions there. And the most recent one was with the Hidden Order with Vic, right? Are you planning on doing more like one-offs there, or?
It'll probably be under a different umbrella. We are exploring doing the one-on-one side of things as well. So as Threefoldbold, what you'll get is the main drop will always facilitate probably an addition or a multiple and a one-on-one in the mix. We'll also be running the merit-based missions that you might have seen. You've come with us on an airdrop or two, and then you get a free one-on-one or a very limited edition. You seem to be just on a radar somewhere with those. So yeah, I'll have to get how you find out, because I'm often late to those parties myself, and I'm building the thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
And so,
and then
do you
yeah,
want to tell them?
it's
Do you
no
want to
cool.
tell them the story about maybe somebody who infiltrated your drop one time? Just a little
Well, yeah, that was a. I guess
early.
that's where our arch nemesis story began, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
Cue dramatic music. Yeah, so it was this elaborate thing that came out of left field for us. So we were heading into the series 2, and we would, we do a lot of stuff live and last minute. So we were there making like marketing bits and fun little gifs, and we're like, all right, cool, let's get these posted up. And then out of the blue came this idea that we were going to do a treasure hunt for this drop. So it was like, right, okay, on the fly then, built all this stuff. There was a recon folder that you had to go and find. In that had some lore and backstories that you could read for the characters. And then eventually you could work through all this material, scan a few barcodes, and then you'd get to a countdown timer. And then the countdown timer would tell you how long you had until mint was live. So it was very elaborate, but it was a lot of fun. So we did the dropped the recon stuff. Everyone kind of went way more wild than I was expecting it to, and it went on for a few hours. Lots of DMs back and forth, people frantically trying to get in. And then
yeah,
I can't remember how it happened, but it was just before we went to bed, I think. Well, we had gone to bed about it. It must have been about 3 in the morning, our end. And then, yeah, I woke up in the next morning, and like someone had flagged me to the fact that someone had gotten in on the drop. I was like, oh shit. Looked up NFT Maker. I was like, half our stock's like been sold. We haven't even like gone live with the drop. I was like, oh no, what's happened? So
yeah,
like pulled everything off the internet, just from panic stations. And then yeah, got a little message through then. It turned out that some of our very avid lizard clan had got in during a skirmish. But luckily managed to liberate lots of the ladies, and were safe.
yeah,
So yeah,
yeah.
lessons learned.
Sorry, I'm sorry about that. Oh,
I don't
because
know.
the whole
It was
time, like,
pretty
I was sitting
intriguing,
there
but
and I was sitting there in my chat, and I was like, well,
stroking
I
your
think
cat,
this is the end of it, right? Like,
missing
I
that
feel
bit.
like we unlocked it. I felt like it was okay.
Yeah,
Like, I felt like,
yeah.
okay, this was the point, right? Like, that
Uh-huh.
people get early access, and then it was like,
Yeah.
oh well, I would buy every single one of these if I could right now, and so I was like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not going to do that. Like, I just wanted what
I
I wanted,
appreciate
and then
your
that was it.
yeah
And so it was
your
just like,
restraint.
I was like, I was like, I didn't want to be a scumbag, but to be honest with you, if I could have it all for myself, like I would. Like, that's how much I love your stuff. I mean, I've held on to
Yeah.
everything you guys have ever minted
Well,
or
that was
given
it.
me.
It was a massive like just show of naivety on our side, really, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Like you hear all day about all these like rug pulls and people getting ripped off and stuff, and bots getting in, and we were just like, yeah, we'll just hide a little address in here, it'll be fine. No one will know. Like we won't be doing that again. Do you know what I mean? And we had all the NFTs live, and it was like, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, lots to learn,
Yeah, I'm
lots to
sorry.
learn, but. Yeah, it happened. I'd rather it happen then than a bit further on. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
yeah, it was fun. It was pretty stressful. I won't say that, but
Yeah.
So
So
did you
yeah.
tell like your Discord members like, hey, I found it or anything? Is that why so many were minted?
no, it was a very select few. Like, keep in mind, like, they released info on it at like 10 p.m. Eastern time, so they're like ready to go to bed. I'm sure of it, and so they're like, "Hey, good luck. You guys are a bunch of idiots. Like,
Yeah, it was
figure it
just going to be
out."
like a build-up promo. That's all it
Yeah,
was. And then we were going to come back the next day and do the whole drop thing.
yeah,
We were like,
Oh,
and everything was gonna be good. And they're like, "Drops live, like whatever." And it, like, so it was me and like probably 10 other lizards all in there, and then by the end of it, we were like racking our brains, and we were like, "Okay, we got to figure this out before we go to bed." And it was like 5 o'clock in the morning, I would say. It was like
damn.
late, super late. And, next thing you know, maybe like 3 hours later, 4 hours later, like Tyler Ghost in the Discord was like, hey, I found the address like we're supposed to mint from, and I was like, oh, cool, and they were like, Brandon, like, you're the leader, you do it first or whatever. And so I did. I minted like, I think my first 5 or whatever it was, and everything was great. And then all of a sudden I was like, okay, one more 5. So I bought another 5 or whatever. And then the thing about my thing is I've never sold a single one of these on secondary. Like, I don't want to sell them. I give them away, because I feel like selling it. I don't know. Like, I would feel bad, or I feel like that's not a natural way to spread the word about what you guys are doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like if I were to give it away to somebody, they would appreciate it a lot more. The work that actually goes
cool,
into
man.
it.
Yeah, I appreciate that. It's kind of received in a better way then, isn't it, I suppose? And it might clear your conscience a little bit for everyone that you give away.
Right, yeah, for all the scumbaggery. So, yeah.
Are a lot of your other drops
cool,
going to...
I appreciate your work, man. Thank you.
Are any future drops going to be similar, like treasure hunt style?
Yeah, I think people enjoy it, don't they? So, yeah, we've recently run a couple of pilot things where we awarded a contract to one of our Nomad followers, and he had to go and liberate a floppy disk from a couple of exo worlds, and he got an NFT of a ship, and then had to go here and there and through a series of things. So, yeah, we did it as a proof of concept, and it seemed to hit the right tones for us. So we hope to lean on that a little bit, and then, yeah, it'll be a mix. Some will be straight up, because I think we do lose a lot of people in the run up to these things. So we want to be mindful that we want to make it accessible, but at the same time, yeah, we want to give people what they want, which is joining us for the story and the fun.
So I heard you do it via Twitter, right? You like talk back and forth and give out some hints via Twitter. So people should follow your Twitter if they're trying to figure out when you're minting and all that sort of thing.
Yeah, man. Like, we just use it's a set of tools, isn't it? So Twitter, we weren't really hot on social media at the time. We were like, how are we going to make this work? And then Fulter came up with the idea. It's like, well, if you follow his Twitter, it's just full in character, because he is just Fulter. But I kind of try and span both worlds, so I'll get a little bit of both. But every now and again, we'll have some, and then it'll come up on the main feed, and then hopefully it'll take you along with it. But yeah, with the new tools that we're bringing in, hopefully it'll be a bit more immersive again than just reading a couple of 140 characters.
Gotcha.
And then listening to the radio shows is hilarious.
Yeah, give them that follow.
Yeah, we've got the WFO.
Yeah.
WFO 101.7. Definitely worth a listen. There's a couple of Easter eggs in there.
It's
just
super
hilarious.
interesting. Just hilarious. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, you guys are doing some great things.
When you listen to it in your car.
Yeah.
It's just like, whoa, hang on.
Yeah. And so I've been a fan since day one. I think you know that. I've been looking forward to this interview for, I don't know, 2 weeks in.
It's good to link
after
up,
Lost Ladies dropped. So yeah.
Yeah, I remember when we first started the podcast, you were talking about like getting guests on, and the first person you even told me about was Taste32. You're like, I think I can get Taste32 on here, and I was just like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like his first idea.
I'll have to just like block out the minor celebrity thing.
Yeah. Definitely a celebrity in my mind, for sure.
I appreciate the support, man. No, it's every time everything comes up, it's like, we get the big shout out from you guys, and then there's a flutter of the following as well. So yeah, it's a great little back and forward. Hopefully we can repay that further down the line as we go, isn't it?
I just can't help but think about Aeonium Sky when you say puzzles, because they just had their mint like an hour ago, and I actually got my first one.
Did anyone get in on that?
I got my very first one. Yeah.
Fuck.
Did you try?
Couldn't even get anywhere near. Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, I don't know. I saw a lot of people were stuck on the processing screen, but luckily mine went through.
Nice, man. Good work.
Yeah. I'm pretty happy about it.
Work, isn't it? Yeah, it's cool.
I love their art. I think it's incredible.
Would love one of those.
Yeah, I know. I was thinking to myself because during the bull market, it was impossible. Like I clicked the link and it was sold out before I even clicked the link during the bull market. So I was like, all right, we're in a bear market. This is my shot. This is my only shot. I got to get in. One opportunity.
Little kamikaze battle.
Yeah.
Yeah. So plus they're releasing more now. So they're releasing 500
Yeah.
instead of 150. Like before, there was just 150,
Yeah,
and
big
so it was
jump.
like you had no shot.
Yeah.
Like you had no shot at all. And so I think they did this one right because it was like, well, you couldn't hold a block 10 in there, inside the wallet because they're going to be underneath the same policy ID, and so
Okay.
so you could only mint one, and then NFT Maker would look for that specific policy ID for your wallet, and it would not allow you to mint another one as long as it was in the wallet. And as you know, with an Aeonium Skydrop, right? So you're going to be able to buy one. You ain't going to have enough time to transfer it to another wallet and then buy again.
Nah, no
Like,
chance.
so you're only going to get one. Like, that's it.
You won't even
So-
have time to try another wallet.
Nah, not at all.
No way.
No. They were sold out quick. So was block 10 actually only 150 as well?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think they put it up to 500 based on what people wanted.
Gotcha.
It's crazy.
And originally, I
demand,
think
isn't
it was even lower than 150.
For block 10? Or for the last
No,
10?
for the previous blocks. I don't know if it started at 150 or whatever.
Yeah.
And then they raised it to like 160. And it's like, woo, 10 more people.
Yeah.
But they only want a certain amount in there, right? I totally get
Right.
it.
But I thought the point was to like increase it slightly as they kept going so that the first ones would be super rare and then, only so many blocks would actually be able to complete the puzzle.
Oh, which they are. They're super rare. If you look at a block one, like
Oh yeah. No shot.
you're paying 2,500 at least or
Yeah.
something, Ada,
A lot.
to get a block one or maybe even block two. I don't even think there's a block one for sale. And if there is, it's got to be a 5-figure,
Yeah.
And so I just hold on to your blocks. That's all I'll say. I bought my first blocks for like 22 ADA, right?
Nice.
Block one, block two,
Wow,
block three, block four, right?
it? Yeah.
22 ADA each. And I sold, to get some liquidity. And dude, that was the worst. That was like one of the worst moves I've ever had. I also did the same thing with unsigs. Dude, Taste, I had 27 unsigs at one point. 27 of them. And that has now been reduced to 9. So I sold 2/3 of them. And not for prices I'm proud of. I will say that.
Oh no.
Oh.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah. It was
We had
like
a nice, good little time, like late just before Christmas.
right.
Some lovely
It
prices.
was like 2
flying
for
around.
200. I was like, this is stupid. Why am I doing this? Yeah. But the mistakes we
Tough
made.
old lessons, isn't it? Capital insight. It's easily
So,
done.
yeah.
It's alright when you come around for the next cycle, you'll just know what to do. You just do it
Right.
quicker.
You know what to
complete the
do.
level
Yeah, you got
better.
it. Yeah. It's all a learning experience, right?
It's gotta be, isn't it? Otherwise, why are we here?
Yeah.
So you looking at
Yeah.
to mint anything like now, or are you also kind of in bear market mode? Let's just stash and do some DeFi on the side.
I've had a little dabble in the DeFi. I'll be honest and put my hands up. I didn't really understand it, but I'm a bit like that. Like if I want to understand something, I've got to go in and have a go and do it. So that was kind of how we ended up doing CNFTs because we were all kind of on the outside going, right, we need to figure this out. And then we're like, right, let's just learn how to do it. And we did. So with DeFi, I've just had a little flitter. I had some WMT locked up in the store in their vault. And then I was like, I'll just move that out. So I've staked that for some farming, and then did the LDE, is it like the pre-sale kind of staking thing they had going on for the booster? So I'm doing that for Min, and it seems okay. But that was on MinSwap, and then got some Sunday bits out of that drop. But some of my wallets for that just wasn't worth it. I think I only ended up with about 43 Sunday. So I'm not huge on the DeFi, yeah.
Gotcha.
He's not quite a
Just waiting for that
DeFi
golden
whale
coin.
just yet. Yeah,
Not quite.
yeah,
Almost.
not yet.
So Brandon,
Yeah.
do you have your Nardwar type stuff today?
I mean, kind of, but not. I mean, like I said, I backed off a little bit because I didn't want to
Okay.
seem like creepy. Because I asked Corin, I was like, "Well, what do you think about these questions or whatever?" He's like, "That's too in depth, man. Like, I don't want him to think like you got his tax records and shit, you know." So, um,
Yeah, it looks like you've been hiding your taxes lately. You have any comments on
excuse me,
that?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind
but
having them. And I think they need to be filed soon. So if you have got them, let me know.
like, so the easiest question is like, so where did you come up with your name?
Interesting. So that was way back when I was trying to be a fledgling graffiti artist, and it was just drilling loads of numbers and letters and forms, and it was just looking for a letter form that I liked. So I liked the T repeating. I liked open vowels and shapes. So yeah, that's how it got there. And then it
Okay,
had links backwards after finding the word. So that's what was quite nice. Background in cooking and chefing and hospitality. So there's a nice little link up there between the art world and the creative output.
so basically your signature is what guided the name, how it looked.
Yeah, yeah, I guess so. Yeah, how it was written out. Yeah, and the
Yeah,
flow.
It's actually
I
pretty
gotcha.
interesting. That's like such an artistic way to pick a name. You know, like just play around with numbers and letters and pick it that way. I never even thought to do that. That's insane. That's awesome.
Yeah, certain letters just feel better to write.
Yeah.
It's a funny one until you do it over and over, and then yeah, you just do it blind.
You got it.
It's a fun little
Yeah.
way to play.
Huh.
And
So
so what? Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, how did the team come about? Like you and Falter and who was the other member? I forget.
Rogue.
So that's
Rogue.
Craig,
Okay.
Rogue Tactics. Yeah,
Okay.
big part of our trio. But yeah, back in 2015, we had Threefoldbold as a creative outlet with a separate roster. So it was myself, Fulter, who was under 521 at the time, and then Koala, but that was for organic t-shirts. So we were doing limited drops for that. Fair wear, and then we just really pushed the boat out on the packaging. And that kind of came to its own little pass, and after about 2 years we went into a bit of a hiatus, and then we picked up maybe a year or so ago, brought Rogue Tactics on board, and just having that audio element join the two visual outputs was just insane. And yeah, the ideas came back, and yeah, it was good. So Fulter lives about 5 miles from me. We were like mates for about 10 years.
Oh,
He
nice.
was friends with one of my so his partner is the sister of one of my friends. Basically, is how we met.
Awesome.
And then
And
yeah, we
Cool.
just liked each other's styles, and then we started collaborating and drawing, and yeah,
Well,
not
that's
much of a
cool.
creative outlet over here in the wilds of West Wales, but there's little pockets if you search it out. It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
or you just make up your own little world.
yeah.
so you guys, okay, so all three of you, but is Rogue like local to you guys or no? He's out there.
He's probably about 60 miles away. So
Okay.
we're in like Kidwelly, Carmarthen, and he's in Cardiff.
Okay.
So it's about an hour's drive, hour and a
Yeah.
half. Hour if you put your foot down.
I wouldn't be able to bike there.
Not
I
that I
would say
condone
that.
that.
Yeah. But so I think we spoke about this earlier, and I never got a true answer from you. Okay. So inside, uh, as you're in the bodega, right? There was pictures down there, and I said, okay, well, there's the movie Rules of Attraction, okay, and then there's the life preserver that says True Love, right? And so I came to the conclusion that James Vanderbeek, right? was in Dawson's Creek. He was also in Rules of Attraction. And the boat inside Dawson's Creek was called True Love. Does that mean that you are a Dawson's Creek fan or a James Van Der Beek fan?
No.
No. It just is what it is.
But I love it. That was a hat tip. Weirdly, how that's aligned, and you've managed to connect those dots. But yeah, it was more to do with the refugee crisis and offering a life ring out to others. So that was that. But it's odd that I chose maybe to align that with the posters, and then you found meaning in that. But yeah, I'll put my hands up.
That's kind of crazy.
Definite coincidence.
It's a coincidence.
Which is wild.
Yeah, you put a lot together right there.
Life.
Well, no, if you look it up, it's kind of crazy.
Dead end that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like, okay, so in the bodega also, right before the stairs, right, there's the Sound of Music, and it's got speakers in there, and stacked speakers like boom boxes or whatever. I noticed that this is an actual piece inside the wall of your studio. Okay.
Yeah.
Can we expect other physical art from you guys, or something you guys used to do was embossing? Could we expect that from you guys later?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting how you found that link, which is nice. That's not our studio, but it was a space that we used to frequent, and it's an artist who used to be local to us, now lives out in Portugal. So big ups to my mitten. Does a lot of hand cut collage, which is incredible. She must have stacks and stacks of papers and stuff. But yeah, I think bringing that physical world back in, the whole finish elements of the packaging with the embossing and the wax seal, and so there's obviously that weighs heavily in our digital world. So there's like little trinkets to find and details. But I think if we can bring that from the NFT side back into the physical, that would land through your door. Yeah, I think that could be an interesting marriage.
Cool.
That's what's up.
Nick, do you have any questions?
I think it could be good.
I mean, I'm just thinking about, like, first off, let me turn on my light because it's getting dark in here. But I'm just thinking about, I want to get my first piece because I actually don't own anything. So I want to know, what's the best way for me to just kind of wait for your next drop? Just keep following you on Twitter and just kind of be active?
Yeah, so at the moment it would be Twitter. I think that's where the announcement will be for any changes. And then we're hoping to convene people to a newer area on the website. So we're just currently in the build process of that, off the back of our latest collab. We're now going to go into a bit of a build process, get that done. Hopefully it won't take too long. And that'll give the functionality and a bit of a calling point. But yeah, the main announcement will come via our Twitter, and we'll make sure to put a bit of a song and dance about it. Hopefully you can see us there.
Nice.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
So there was a post that you made with some art in it, and it was like a vending machine, okay? And it had the title Habits on there. And I think it had some inspiration with your actual vending machine you're using now, okay? And I think the overall message was maybe displaying our need to consumerism and addiction to buying things and other things like that. The vending machine you have now, is that saying that we have an addiction to NFTs and the NFT buying addiction, I guess you would say?
Yeah, that's such an amazing link again. I don't know how you afforded this kind of perspective, but it's super cool to see it through your lens. So appreciate it. Yeah, that piece was definitely a spotlight on how easy it is now to just fuck yourself up in the modern world. Sorry if it's language.
It's all good.
Everything is just on tap. It's too easy to wreck yourself. Gambling, narcotics, drugs, booze, just getting yourself in loads of debt. That's good. Buy more stuff. What else do you want? Get that. Easy. More money in the machine.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
So that was it for me when it was in illustration. We were then looking at a way to have just an outlet. So it needed to make sense in the bodega world as somewhere you go to buy we didn't really want to put a shopkeeper character in there that you had to interact with. So we wanted it to be faceless, and then bounced around a few ideas, and we fell on the vendor. And then I did think when we were drawing up the visuals of like the comparisons of like, okay, so what is this? Is this actually a commentary? But I think you'll see its functionality come to its own in that ease of exchange. But why do we need to give people that ease of exchange? I don't know. It's often like, so what I was thinking was playing with a split of value. So there'll be a project that you can get of this way through a certain way, or you might get this part of the project from the vendor. How you choose will affect what you get, essentially. I thought that would be a fun way to play it, but that's getting into the ins and outs of it. I think it just looks cool as a piece of like 80s, 90s arcade furniture as well, right?
Yeah. No, it definitely is pretty cool. Okay,
I've seen
so
it
off
like
topic.
trickle out and influence other projects as well, which is cool.
Right.
Yeah, I don't want to put the ownership behind it, but yeah.
So this is kind of out of left field. Can you tell us about the great pumpkin shortage of 2014?
So there's like the ever increasing Americanization of our Halloween traditions, isn't there? I mean, it's gone from being something that probably was celebrated by the great Celts. Big ups to our ancestors, isn't it? But now it's just this big whitewash holiday thing, and everyone just goes wild for pumpkins. So unfortunately, we left it super late, as is my demeanour. Always last minute, always on the fly. Thought I'd pick up a couple of pumpkins on the way home, get them carved for the Halloween party, only to find out there's no pumpkins left. So I had to opt for some watermelons instead. Which I think worked as a better thing, man. Like we made rum punch with a watermelon. It was pretty good. Yeah.
Awesome.
We weren't eating pumpkin soup for weeks. It was a lot easier to carve.
Nice.
It was a win.
And then, so your first big break, would you consider it painting a mural for your local library? Is that kind of the first thing that you ever did that was on a bigger scale, I guess you would say?
Yeah, I've always wanted, like, I've got aspirations of getting out and painting big. I did, like, little bits of graffiti in my checkered past, but I was never, like, big or notorious or didn't really get out much. So it was hard to paint graffiti if you don't get out at odd hours. Particularly in a small town, it never really takes off unless you get to a bigger city with a bigger space. So, because everyone just knows everyone, isn't it? So yeah, when I got the opportunity to paint a big wall, it was like, yeah, let's do this. And like, I remember going in for day one, just like freehanding all this stuff on and feeling cool and standing back going, oh, I haven't got the finish that I wanted on this at all, and having to like just rethink it all and my skills with the cans and stuff. And I was like, right, how am I going to attack this with a designer brain? So obviously I came from designing for screen graphic design and stuff, and then being heavily influenced by graffiti and street art and doing that in my sketchbook, and then thinking that just translates direct to the wall, and it just doesn't. Not to the point where I like to make art that's finished as you go, which is really difficult because you want it to look complete as you're drawing it, and it's just self-crippling. So the way around it then, I just had to attack it with stencils and again get those crisp lines and stuff. So yeah, it's just forcing yourself into awkward positions, thinking that you've got the skills and getting your pants pulled down, really.
As an artist, do you ever find yourself getting like the painter's version of writer's block? And if so, how do you get past that? Yeah. Do you ever meditate, try to do anything like that? Because I notice with your work, a lot of it seems very like thought provoking. Like we should be aware of
Appreciate that. Thanks.
Yeah, like what you were saying with like the vending machine and stuff like that. You know, like it's very easy to fuck ourselves, right? So it does seem like that's kind of where you're always, you know, mental is like being prepared to think of all the scenarios before you just dive right in.
Yeah, that side of me is definitely crossed to who you normally get. So as a person, I'm quite bull in a china shop and quite reactive. But I'm trying to like temper that by being a bit more mindful, doing a lot more yoga. But that was spurred on by my like I fell into, I'm quite an addictive person, so at the moment I'm deep into like making art and stuff, even though I'm feeling a bit creatively stifled. Last year, before I fell into CNFTs, it was endurance running, so I did that intensively for like a year. But it was during that time that I found a great tool set in yeah, being more mindful, the breath and stuff. So I'm trying to bring that back into now this journey that I've been on with a few other things. Yeah, and hopefully they'll marry up a bit more and give me that escape. So when things aren't feeling creative, I do head out, get on the trails, get into woods, get into nature, get up high. Yeah, it's good. And then just reset and try and attack it again. But it's one of those things you can't really push. So it's difficult when you're juggling deadlines to try and strive towards that kind of output when you're on that treadmill for so long. You just want to get off. And like you said, the ideas themselves just stagnate. So you either need more input from outside, or either that's nature or other artists, or yeah, you just need to feed yourself as an artist from wherever source that is. And for me, a lot of that comes from music, I suppose, particularly because we work remotely. So I can always jump on, stick some music on, and then I'm transported to another place. Like I'm speaking to you now from my kitchen, but I'm often going to create from a similar kind of space. It's either my dining room or here. So yeah, you've got to adapt some tools to take you elsewhere if you want to get creative, really. So yeah, it's a journey, and I feel like I'm getting there. But yeah, you'll hit stumbling points and plateaus and dry spots, and hopefully they fade as quick as they come.
Gotcha. Yeah, I know I struggle with I mean, I make music and sometimes I'll kind of get in that funk too. And even just making videos, sometimes I'm like, dude, how do I make a video that people actually care about? And I know for me, it definitely helps to get outside. But even today, I was actually debating, I was like, I haven't worked out in like a year. Like, it's a long time. And, I don't really want to wait until I'm older to like get back and healthy, because then it's even harder to get back into it.
Oh, it's too late.
Yeah.
No, that's it. That's what I fear probably the most. It's leaving it too long, which is why like last year I got on that crazy like endurance thing. Yeah, getting on now. No younger, not getting any younger.
Exactly.
Yeah, these sleepless nights aren't helping either. But hey.
So do you find with like your mentality that it is more about just getting outside, new environment, or is it more about actual exercise that really helps you?
It's probably the moving through a space and being out in nature. So yeah, it gets a point where I've been indoors too long and I have to be outside. There's a whole thing of like conquering a thing with nothing but a set of trainers. That's pretty good. And sometimes there's nothing worse than wanting to go, so you just gotta shove yourself out the door. And then for me, there's like a mental block at about 4 miles in. Once I'm over that, it's like, oh well, this is all right. Anything up to that point, and yeah, you could turn around in a heartbeat and I'd be straight back home.
Yeah.
It's so like you're your own worst enemy, aren't you? It's impossible sometimes. There's any excuses all under the sun.
Yeah.
Same thing for creating. Like unless you're turning up every day, like the excuses are always going to be there.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I had like 20 other questions lined up. I don't want to ask, but yeah, I mean, after, do you still do like any sort of art inside your town, just for like things like, the Old Town Festival or whatever it may be, or for like the Tangled Parrot or anything like that?
Yeah, I used to do a lot. A lot of my groundwork for graphic design came out of that gig I did for the Tangled Parrot. So that was making music posters for anyone who came through the venue. And that ran for about 3 years. So the output for that has been pretty huge. I still keep my hand in that. There's still a lot of my bread and butter in fiat coming through that. So as a graphic designer, I'll do things for local firms or flyers or little bits like that, logo work. But apart from that, no, I don't do a lot of that anymore. But I've transferred those skills then onto something like Threefoldbold. I do give back into the community in my other job, which you'll find me doing science for primary school kids,
Hey.
which is your kind of elementary school, I suppose. So yeah, that kind of ticks that box of being in the community and giving back. So yeah, it's good. It's got a nice little mix so far, but it'll be nice for the art to do that legwork in the end.
Just wanted to shout out. We probably got about, maybe 15 more minutes. So if anybody in the audience has any questions, feel free to ask, and we'll just keep going until a question pops up.
Yeah, man, I'm open.
Cool.
I'm just waiting for those dungeons to open with all those horrible questions.
No. I didn't. Like I said, I did a pre-screen asking of questions of people, and they were like, calm down just a little bit, Like I said, I tried to get in contact with people from the Tangled Parrot or whatever to see if they had any sort of like funny jokes or anything like that I could like pass on or whatever it may be. And they didn't get back to me necessarily.
Did anyone get back to you? Oh, okay.
No. And so I was actually going to call them internationally, and I was going to be like, hey, is somebody there that has been there for a while, might be able to help me with this. But yeah, just overlooking stuff, like in researching as much as possible. Like I found out like a lot of things that you do are very interesting. You've kind of held the same frame, you haven't really changed a whole lot, which is good. It's refreshing to see.
Do you not think?
That way people know what to expect. You know what I'm saying? I feel like the embossing is a very nice touch. It's the same thing. You can tell that you work through your art, essentially. So you put work into there, and you're not, I would say, run of the mill. You know what I mean? And I could tell by your website the first time that I was on there. I was like, yeah, this isn't a run of the mill website. Like, this is legit. This is badass. I love it. And so yeah, I look forward to everything that you guys do. I mean, I think you know that. So yeah, yeah.
I appreciate
Yeah,
that.
I
It's
think you're good.
that's the thing. It's getting that immersion and being so direct with your audience, and like it's odd to call you our audience because it definitely feels more like a friendship as a two-way thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's cool, and just getting that feedback. You're doing a drop and you're getting the audience already buying it and moving it around. That was something we've never experienced before. As an artist, you produce work. It used to be that we were producing work for Instagram. So you're producing work for a square, which is about this big, and you even go in to make the work with that in your mind. So like, yeah, the best thing we ever did was move away from that. And yeah, it's nice to produce work now again, and it feels like it's getting in front of people and people are enjoying it. I think that's the biggest thing. It's just getting to know that people are enjoying it, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Do you also make music, or are you just strictly paint and like art?
I like to write, so I've got a big passion with writing, but no, I don't produce any music. I like to think that I can sing, but I definitely can't.
Oh man, me and you got a lot in common.
What, with the singing thing or the writing
Yeah,
thing?
well, both. I mean, I know I can't really sing. I throw a little bit of auto tune on there, make myself sound decent. I like to rap,
Yeah.
so yeah, just creative outlets with words and stuff. That's what I like.
Yeah,
But you were saying when he said you don't seem to have changed too much. You were like, yeah, you think so. I feel like you probably think you have changed a bit. What do you think you've changed up the most, either mentally or within your art?
yeah, interesting. I wasn't sure whether you were talking about me as a person or from my artistic output. So I feel like my art has probably stayed fairly similar. If you look back to where I am now and contrast it, you can definitely see a very, very, similar bold black line. A lot of that carries through. I haven't really evolved further than that, but I've become comfortable with that. I feel like the next stage is to stop trying to find something new and lean into it, and it become a bit more of a statement thing. So how can I do this through this as a medium? So it'll become its own thing, and hopefully it'll have its own confidence back, which is probably what's happened recently. It's just kind of fallen off a bit. So it's just, finding that. But the mentality thing, I feel like I've matured a lot. and it's probably accelerated from a lot of differences and things that I've had to overcome. But yeah, I guess that's part of it, isn't it? It's all part of the journey. But I feel like I've been put through certain obstacles which, yeah, give you a little reward, shall we say. And maybe that's what I've been trying to do with the NFT since, is doing that for other people, isn't it? Going
Yeah.
on a little quest and collecting little boosts and XP rewards. I don't know. You've just got to keep having fun with it all, haven't you?
Yeah, it's
And maybe
interesting.
not looking too deep.
It's interesting that you said that because, you know, I think about you're talking about like settling into like your style, right? And like not trying to like change it up necessarily too much. I feel like I kind of relate to that to a degree with when I first started trying to make music. I was like, I want something that like doesn't just sound like you know what I mean? Like the same thing. But then you look at music at like a deeper level and it's actually even more simplistic when you look at it. It's like there's only so many rhyme schemes and so many things you can do to make it sound pleasing to human ears. So it's actually when you try to look like too far out of the basic spectrum, you actually kind of, you know, find yourself producing worse art in a sense.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, you get lost in all the bells and whistles and you trick yourself into thinking that your finished product is anything but the rubbish that you started with, isn't it? So, yeah, maybe strip it all back, get back to basics, see what's what, and then just go from there and keep your fundamentals strong. So that'll speak through, find your own voice, and it'll always speak to authenticity throughout anything you do then. So you'll have your Atlanick that'll flip back and forth maybe through the styles that'll influence you at the time, but something deep down will boil down to who you are, and it's just all about tapping into that. I'm not sure we've all found it yet, but we keep trying, don't we?
Yeah, I don't think there's ever a perfect place, you know? We're always going to keep trying to adapt. Like, that's just human nature. You know, even if we're in a quote-unquote, like, perfect place, in our minds, there is no perfect place.
Nah, it's just constant chaos.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. Did, so what's next on your radar? Like what do you find yourself doing on a daily basis? Like whether it be interacting on Twitter or what's the
Yeah,
next move, I
so
guess you would say, for you?
for me personally, I've got this big collab that has been cooking away over a couple of months. So I need to get that back to where it's going to go. I can't say any more than that, but that's been eating up a lot of my time. So that'll come out. And then there's a couple of other bits that I've worked out for another person. Again, just a smaller piece of collaboration work on the commission. And then it'll be full steam ahead behind Threefoldbold. But I think what's interesting is that so far you've seen a lot of the visual in terms of the NFTs come out from Fulter. Once I get my decks cleared, there's a couple of pieces I'd probably start to develop a series now coming through, which will be a bit more focused around my art. So hopefully that'll come through. And that's the idea then, is to give the Threefoldbold family a bit of taste, which would be nice.
Nice.
That's what's up. We do have a question from Yo-Yo, which I tried to put up in the stream, but that's not working at the moment. So they say, any plans on collaborations between the three of you? And I think they mean us. So,
Oh man. So I mean that would depend. So with Atreyu, it worked out kind of well because you guys were both kind of in a finer art sort of deal, and I think it could work in an aspect that it would, depending on what I come out with next. Essentially, it's kind of going to go into a different turn, a different style, which is going to be pretty interesting.
Yeah, that sounds pretty exciting.
I think based on that there could be something there, but based on my current artwork now, I don't think so. But it would be cool if Atlanick spoke to Rogue and like kind of listen to the WHO, a
Yeah,
little
you
bit
should
more.
definitely go on the WFO and see if it gives you any interesting
WFO, yeah.
ideas.
So
that'd be awesome.
yeah, I think
Yeah, it's a
you're
funny one, isn't it?
yeah,
I mean, like I've
yeah,
often had that question come up, and you've got to be careful not to like gatekeep yourself, because obviously the hardest thing in the most recent collab was being forced over someone else's style that you don't normally work in. And I think there was a certain magic in that released a certain thing that it worked, but it wasn't easy, and it was definitely something you had to step out your comfort zone to achieve. But I think there's certain things that just won't go. So obviously, you mentioned earlier the AI thing. If someone came to me with a strong AI collection, I don't feel there'd be a way in for me to interact with that in a very meaningful way. Essentially, I don't know. I might get my mind changed. The same with the generative PFP collection. If someone asked me to do that, I guess you'd have to collaborate on the base thing, or maybe pick some traits between you. You could do it, but I mean, it doesn't particularly interest me in that sense. And it's not a disrespect to anything that comes on. It's just, I think if you pick a collaboration, you want to be excited about some element of it at least.
Right.
And that's from both parties.
Right. Yeah, right. 100%. It'd be kind of funny, you know, like the rivals, or, you know, the evil Lucky Lizard is now a part of, you know, Taste32 and Threefold Blind. It's like an anime series.
Yeah. Well, there's definitely ways our threads will cross, I'm sure.
Yeah. Like he's already done a couple things, like a couple shout outs. We were on the radio station one time, which was cool. Like he was like, "Oh, Lizards broke in a little early," you know, and so that was cool. And then I got my briefcase, which had your one of one on there, which was awesome. Like I loved it. I even showed Nick it earlier, and I was like, "Dude, look how badass this is! Like, look what they did!" And man, it was so cool to see that. And so
keep hold of that if you haven't shifted it on already in your great exodus of profit chasing.
Oh, I've actually never. Again, like I said, I haven't done anything.
I appreciate
like
that,
you know.
No, so, keep that one close. It might come into play.
I'm gonna try to bring it up here for a sec. Let's see if I can do it. Oh, yep, this is it right here.
It is.
Yep.
See,
the Lizard Leader.
Yeah.
And then when you click on it, it's something different, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So let's see if I can, because you showed me what it looks like when you actually open it too. I can show that too.
Right. And it's got his little signature down on the right hand side. And so
here's that. There it is. That's crazy. That is so cool looking.
And the Taste32 does look good though. Like you worked it out really well. Like the signature.
Yeah, that's the second evolution of that. Yeah, I got an iPad back maybe just over a year ago. So I thought it was about time to bring the tag along with it. So I revamped it about a year ago, and that's what you see at the minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all about that drill. Just time, over and over until you find something that
works. It does look great.
And then you can. Yeah, you just kid yourself that it makes the letters that you first started doing.
So yeah, Lost Ladies within the next month, hopefully.
Your words, not mine, but yeah.
Yeah, we'll just keep stalking your Twitter, you know.
Yeah, please do. There's a couple of housekeeping things to do beforehand, but it'll definitely be in the near future for sure. Just so we can keep creating, because that's almost ready to go now. So for us, we need, that momentum to go, and then there's plenty to follow always.
That's awesome, man. Well, I appreciate you for coming on, man. If any of you guys have any wrap up really statements, or if any of you guys want to shout out anything, say anything before we head off, you know.
Yeah, go follow Taste32, follow Threefoldbold. I promise you will not be disappointed at all. And definitely check out the website. They have so much content on there. Also, I think you are the only people who have like a character who's on LinkedIn. Is that correct?
That is correct, yeah.
Okay.
Be careful with him. He's not very nice.
Okay.
You can find him in some of the recon. Or, reach out in the DMs.
And just going to shout it out.
That one.
It is threefoldblind.io, and 3 is spelled out. It's not the letter. Yeah, threefoldbold.io.
Bold, yeah.
.io. Yeah.
Gotcha.
That's the one. Yeah,
what did I say?
At threefoldbold on Twitter. So just find us on there and give us a shout. But yeah, thanks to all the followers, anyone who's recently joined the fold, and to all the nomads, really. Lizard Clan as well, thanks for having us. And Atlantic, it's been a pleasure, man. Thank you for hosting.
Yes, sir. It was great meeting you, man. All right, guys.
Until next time.
Yes, sir. Peace.